Today, we'll be talking about how you can qualify and score your leads with AI and then instantly generate a response to improve your speed to lead and ultimately your conversion rate. So, I've been doing this myself with my YouTube channel and the leads I've been generating. So, what I do is I capture a form submission, and in that form, I capture all the standard details around company size, all that stuff. But I also have a more open ended prompt where I ask people about how they're using AI. And then I feed all of that into an AI prompt to then generate an email that gets sent to that new prospect or lead within sort of 1 to 2 minutes of them filling out the form. And this is something I implemented sort of a week or two ago. And before that, I didn't have this in place. And I found a significant increase in conversion rate, which is why I wanted to share this with you today. So I actually built my automation in make.com and I'm using Anthropic Claude here. So this is actually the automation I'm using, very simple, just 3 steps. But I've been getting a lot of requests or questions from people asking if I could build in Zapier or OpenAI with ChatGPT instead of Anthropic. And the answer to that is yes. You can really build with whichever tool you want. I tend to use make.com because it's slightly more affordable, but I know a lot of people prefer the Zapier interface. So today we'll be building it all in Zapier and I'll be using OpenAI as well, just to mix it up a little bit. So to start with, we're just going to rebuild what we have. So there's 3 steps, right? So we wait for any new submission in my form. So I'm using Tally, which is a very nice form builder that looks a little bit like Notion, but is very easy to build forms in and it has a very, very generous free plan. You don't have to use Tally. You can use your own form builder. You can use HubSpot, Typeform, Google Forms, whatever you're comfortable with. But the main thing here is we just want it to be able to connect to Zapier or make.com so that whenever there is a new submission, we can run our automation. So here I've just got my Tally set up and I'm connecting it to this form, which is my AI Toolkit early access form. And this is just a form where I ask about people's name, work email, company website. And then you'll see here, I start to have these open-ended questions where I have like how they're using AI, what they're excited about, that sort of stuff. And you'll know, like in an old school or more traditional B2B lead capture form, you'll have things like company size, team size, that sort of stuff to let you score those leads. But what AI enables is you can now capture more qualitative or softer and more open-ended data points on customers and then use these in order to drive higher engagement and conversion rate. So yeah, I'm collecting this information and then it kicks off into AI. So in my make.com automation, you'll see that this feeds into Anthropic. And for Anthropic, I'm just passing in all the users' submission details. So like what their name is, their current AI usage, maturity, their AI tools, all that sort of stuff. And this is my prompt. I basically just said, given that, can you draft an email? And I've got some sort of thresholds here around if the user is relatively low maturity in terms of how they use AI, then we should prompt them more because for me, generally, lower AI maturity or people who've never touched AI have a lower likelihood to convert. So I generally try to probe a bit more around the depth of their experience. And then if they're a really good fit based on my criteria, I just get the response email to directly include a booking link. And I send that straight back so that the prospect can book in a meeting immediately. So I'm going to go back here and set this up now. So let's use ChatGPT, which is what we want. So we want a conversation. Let's go, let's connect this. I'm going to quickly set this up. Cool, that's all set up. So go to our actions. So we're going to use 3.5 turbo. Let's put in the, so I'm going to go here, put in all that information. So let's copy this prompt over. And then I'm going to put in the user detail. Then here is where we insert everything that we've captured. So for your specific use case, you can put in the details that matter and the details you want to leverage in your prompt. This is just a very specific example for me. And you can see here, I've got 2 example emails as well, just so the AI has a bit of a reference as to what tone and style of email I want. So I've got one email where the user doesn't really match. So I've asked some prompting questions and I've got another email example here where I'm sending a booking link directly. to get the user to book something in. And yeah, so that's all you need to do. And we don't need this anymore. And finally, the last step is really just to send the response email. So you can create this one, send email, set up your account. So I'm going to connect this quickly. I've got that all set up. And then you can go here and just send to the person's email because we captured it. You can put in your subject line, which is AI Toolkit Early Access. And then in the body, you can just put in whatever comes back from ChatGPT. And that's basically it. So that's sort of the most basic version and basically a rebuild of what I have right now. And to be honest, for I would say 80% of use cases, this is enough. If you have a new customer, I think start them off with this. And if they have more complicated needs, you can always build something a bit more complicated. So the most easy way to elevate an automation like this is to introduce lead data. So when you have a B2B business and someone submits their email, generally you want to capture a work email, right? And from that work email, you can actually extract their domain so you can see what their company's website is, or you can just straight up ask them, what is your company website? You can then pass that company website into a database like Apollo.io to get details on that company so that you can further personalize your response. Or if you don't want to use a database like Apollo.io, you could use a block like Perplexity, right? So I've got an example where I've got this research going on. So I'm getting if you look down here, I'm getting the work email domain, and then I'm passing it into Perplexity to get research on the specific company itself and pinging it into Slack. So instead of pinging it into Slack, you would include it into your ChatGPT prompt to come up with an even more personalized response. So an automation like this is something you can pitch to your clients as something that will significantly increase their conversion rates. And if your customer has a relatively high ticket item, then the ROI is very clear there. And yeah, so that's basically it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll try my best to get back to you. If you enjoyed this video or would like to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot.